So the year is now 2023. So that means a new year, new you, new me, and new journal. So this video is here to kind of help anyone who wants to get into journaling, or if you're into journaling, want some kind of tips and tricks. Now, I just want to preface that by saying that journaling is pretty simple, right? All you need is a pen and some paper here, right? You just write your frickin' ideas down on there, or your thoughts down on there. That's what journaling is, the simplest way. But I made this video just in case someone wanted to get a bit of structure on journaling, or just to see how I've journaled. Now, about me, I've been journaling for about 3 years now. I started midway in 2019, and journaling for me has really been useful in just getting my ideas on paper. Like, I'm someone who just has crazy thoughts and ideas all the time. Like, trust me, I'm a normal person, but I do have a lot of thoughts and ideas that go on in my head, and journaling's been a really great way to kind of write those things down. Now, journaling is not, dear diary, so-and-so, X and Y, this happened at school today. It kind of is like that, but it's not like that typical stereotype of the teenage girl writes a story about her crush. That's not what journaling is about. Journaling is the act of putting your thoughts onto something mechanical or solid like ink to paper. That's what journaling is, because this really comes from a book called Getting Things Done by David Allen, and the whole kind of brief summary of that book is with your thoughts, the human mind. The human mind is absolutely fantastic at coming up ideas. When you're just about to go to bed, your brain's like, hey, think about this, think about this, think about this, think about all these embarrassing thoughts, things you've done. That's what the brain is really good at, right? It's good at coming up with ideas. But what the brain is not good at is, just imagine you're about to leave to work, leave to school. Oh, where did I put the homework? Oh, where did I put the keys? The brain is not great at retaining those ideas, okay? So that's where journaling comes in. So your mind is really good at coming up with ideas, but it's not so great at retaining those ideas. Now, you can imagine you're trying to retain those ideas all the time throughout your day. It's not going to be a really, really good day, right? So imagine you get this like really good thought idea, and you're trying to hold on to that idea for the rest of the day till you actually execute on that idea. Or let's say you're about to go to sleep and you have this big worry, this huge worry about this test, or what I said 10 years ago to this person, you're kind of worrying about that. That's not actually useful to have, right? It's not useful to know like that thought you had 10 years ago, or it's not useful to have that idea holding on to it until you get time. Let's say you're at the grocery shop and you can't execute on the idea till you get home. It's not useful to have those ideas. That's where journaling comes in. Journaling acts as a method of getting your ideas, the creation of ideas, and putting it down on paper. Because I don't know about you guys, but paper, these journals, they're really great. They don't change on you. They don't disappear. They don't disappear like your thoughts and ideas do. They don't just come up and worry you in the middle of the night. That's the power of journaling. And as someone like me, I'm someone who I think I've said that before. I'm someone who just gets ideas all the time, and like anyone, I'm not special. Like most people get ideas all the time. It's just been great to be able to put it down to paper. So that's kind of why we want to journal. Okay, we want to journal for that particular reason. We want to be able to put our ideas onto paper. Okay, now you can just leave the video now and just do that. Okay, but if you want a bit of structure, this is kind of like my method of what I do. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to obviously write, have a consistent habit. You want to pick some times, and I call these the sacred hours. These are the sacred hours when you journal. So typically a really good time would be in the morning or in the evening, or you could do both, or you could do throughout the day. So what I like to do is like to wake up in the morning, do my morning routine, and then write down things I have to do today, or any thoughts or ideas that I have today, or things I want to execute on today. And then later on in the evening, I'll write down things I have to do for the next day. That's it. That's real simple. Now, I want to come back to the idea about the dear diary, dear journal thing. So journal is not just writing down your feelings and how you see things, right? It's a place where you put your to-dos. It's a place where you can just, if you've got something on your mind, you put it on there. So it can be your feelings, but it's not just your feelings. It could be just a to-do list. And I'll show you examples of what I've done. Okay. Now, how I structure the journal is I use this method by an author called Ryder Carroll, or creator, or I don't know what people are called these days, but he's a person. Ryder Carroll, he basically wrote this book called The Bullet Journal Method. And I basically use 90% of that method. So you can always look up that method or read the book. I actually read the book. And he has a specific method of how you set things up. Now, I think a key thing is don't get too tied up on perfectionism, making sure everything is perfect. He even talks about it in his book. Ryder Carroll talks about just embrace imperfection. So I'll come to perfection in just a second, But the idea is, like, don't be too tied down to the system, but it's something that you can use as a guideline and try out, okay? So how I would set up the journal is I start off with, this is a brand new fresh journal, and there's a bit of irony to this because it's the start of the year, and I'm going to tell you why soon, why it's bad to think that at the start of the year you have to start a journal, okay? It comes back to perfectionism, but I'll walk through that in just a moment, okay? But looking at what I'm doing here, I'm setting up what's called the future log. The future log contains anything throughout the year that's in the future. So for example, a wedding in 3 months' time, a wedding in March, you write down your future log, okay? The next stage is after you've done the future log, so you do it for, obviously there's 12 months in a year, you'll move over and do your first monthly log. So it's January, or the day I'm writing up this diary, it is January, and we create what's called a January monthly log, and that's consisting of 2 pages. One side has all the numbers, and the other side just is basically a list. And inside the monthly log, you put things, well, you guessed it, for that month. So let's say you've got a wedding. There's a theme of weddings, right? Not my own wedding, but we have a wedding, and that's going to be taking place on this particular date, and it's going to be with these particular people. This is what I need to remember, okay? That's a monthly log, okay? After you've done the monthly log, then we go into what we call the daily logs. That's what you'll be doing every single day. So for example, it's the 1st January. I didn't do anything. I didn't actually use my journal that day. I unboxed this journal on the 2nd of January. So on the 2nd of January, I'm writing down some random thoughts, and this could take pages and pages of stuff, right? Because I've got so much ideas. So mainly, I don't really put my feelings all the time. Mostly it's to-dos and ideas that I come up with. So ideas for Twitter threads, ideas for videos, ideas for books, even programming ideas, concepts, anything. I just put it down, I write down on there, and it's really good to just come back to. And the fact is, like, I've got journals like this, you know. I've got this journal here from 2019, my first journal. I never refer back to it. It's just a place that has my ideas on here. So it would be quite funny to go back and look at these ideas. But yeah, it's just a place where writing ideas down is good. Because I do believe if you write your ideas down, that's where you just get rid of that mental chatter. You're able to look at things through a different light. Because at the end of the day, if all the thoughts are in your head, an anxious mind always wins, and by writing things down, you get to put things down on paper, and it's fine, okay? Now I want to talk about the factor of perfectionism. So perfectionism really kills everything, actually. Perfectionism is the enemy of good, okay? Now, there's 2 forms of perfectionism that I want to talk about. There's perfectionism in the fact that we don't want to ruin our diary. You've got to be absolutely perfect. Now, I've got a story to share with you. I went to Thailand, and I actually damaged my journal, okay? I'll just show it to you. I think I've got it here. I took a boat ride. The boat ride wasn't particularly a dry one, and the journal got water damaged, okay? It was a brand new journal. Actually, the damage isn't that too bad now. Yeah, I think you probably can't even see the damage. Let me just show you. Hope there's nothing secret in there. There's a bit of water damage around there. So the idea is embrace imperfection, okay? The second thing is I had to have a journal for every year. That's not the case. You're probably better off, and I just ran into this last year. You'll find out that if you do journal enough, you're going to run out of space, right? You're going to run out of space in these journals, okay? The idea is don't worry about filling a whole year inside this journal. Just set the date. So for example, this goes from January. Can you see that? So this goes from January 2020 to November 2020. And then what you do is you just grab another journal and you just fill in the gaps. That's it, okay? So don't worry about being perfect. And another thing is, with these journals, they don't have, they don't typical 1st of March, 2nd of March, because the idea is you can journal for a day, miss out a week, miss out a month, and come back to it, and it'd be just fine. So don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about being perfect in these journals. The idea is just to do it, use them, and then enjoy the benefits, okay? Now, it's really great when it comes to the end of the year. I can sticky up a journal, and it's all done and dusted, and it's good for storage. So I really enjoy that part. Cool, so we come basically to the to the end of the video. I'm just getting myself in focus. Come basically to the end of the video. I hope you find this really useful to you. So I'd really encourage you to check out the resources. Ryder Carroll's book on the bullet journal method if you want to run through that. There's more things he does, but to be honest, I don't find them too particularly useful. I just like the idea of the future log, monthly log, and day log. Just consolidates all like these, like things in the future. Just consolidates that a lot easier. But he does have other methods in there as well. I'll link my kind of blog article that I wrote about this as well, the newsletter article, which will be out in a few weeks. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but yeah, I hope you find that quite useful to you. Let me know if you're a journaler. Let me know what you do. I'd be really keen to know what you do down in the links below, so in the comments down below. And yeah, as always, stay focused and talk soon.